for Hey Sis, show up for you. So, with that being said, the Intentional Success Tribe is a place where small business owners and entrepreneurs gather to intentionally connect with one another and build community. It is our collaboration container and it's filled with the Success Tribe VIP. So, if you want to be a Success Tribe VIP or if you're looking for a collaboration container, make sure you go ahead and click the greenhouse above on Clubhouse. And then I'll also be posting the Facebook link on at the top of Clubhouse, so you can click onto that. So, with that being said, you are tuning in for Hey Sis, Show Up for You, or if you're on Facebook, Morning Motivation. And this happens every Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go for a good 30 minutes. We've been hitting 40 on all platforms since we're streaming on all Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse. But we do a 30-minute after party in Clubhouse, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our lovely, phenomenal speaker, Allysia Richardson. She is all about three things: love yourself, love your family, and love your life. She is all about encouraging the Christian busy mom to step outside of the box and into pursuing their passion. So I'm going to introduce to some and reintroduce to others the amazing, phenomenal, loving Allysia Richardson. And for those that don't know, you speaking at who's talking, I am the lovely Miss Jasmine, phenomenally me. And I go by three titles. Like I got many, but I go by three: gift from God, Godpreneur, and literally like a coach or consultant. So with that being said, I believe in boldly living in purpose, on purpose, intentionally, because I am a gift from God and so are you, boo. So I am a gift from God and so are you. So I help new and established professionals build sustaining blueprints that lead to intentional expansion. And I do this all by prioritizing radical, holistic healing to strengthen the longevity of your legacy. So, with that being said, I'm going to introduce myself to you and reintroduce to others myself, the lovely Miss Jasmine Porter. So, I'm going to pass the mic to Allysia so we can kick off today's morning motivation.
I'm glad you caught yourself because our show was about to throw that mic right back at you and be like, Jasmine, don't do that. Who are you? But good morning to everyone in the room today. I don't know what it is, but I am extra excited about today. I don't know if it's what is going to be brought today or if I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but I am super excited and I hope you are as well. Let me tell you this. Today is Thursday, right? We got over the hump day. That means you have made it. You have made it to Thursday. To this is the last Thursday of the year, isn't it? Like this is the last Thursday of the year. Oh my goodness, we have made it through 2021, guys. We have made it. Um Okay, I don't know what that is, but we've made it through we've made it through this year. We only have a few more days until we are walking into the new year. Now, of course, that doesn't make you new walking into a new year. All that does is it marks a new chapter in your life, right? If you allow it to, because some people don't really believe in, that new year marking that chapter. But if you allow it to, it can mark that new chapter in your life. And so, which is so appropriate for today. Today, we are going to, in all this week, what we have been talking about is appreciating the process, right? And so we've been talking about like everything that's included in the process. We've had people come on stage and talk about, the how they've been feeling, like how they felt stuck. Others sharing how they've actually gone through their process. It's like this week has just been so powerful and so impactful in ways that as you walk into 2022, you can really enjoy the process that you're going to go through. You can enjoy the all of the things you're going to experience for 2022, right? So today we are going to talk about distractions, right? Distractions that can come up in a process, right? Because all this week we've talked about brokenness, we've talked about discovering wholeness, getting that understanding, breaking habits, building habits. We've talked about being vulnerable, fears. We've talked about like just like the unknown of the process of walking through a process and whatever that process might mean for you, right? So your process could be losing weight, finding love, finding you, finding your identity, getting into business, getting that job that you've wanted, um, whatever that might mean, whatever that process is to you. Okay. So, excuse me, go tell daddy. All right. So I'm a mom. Um, and you already know it's holiday season and they just do what they want to do. So, Jasmine, let me pass this over to you really quick while I handle this really quick. Okay.
So with that being said, let me go ahead and kick off today. So we're talking about distractions during your process. And one of the reasons we started talking about it kind of led from yesterday's conversation, right? We started talking about how, at times pain shows up during the process, how at times, if there's no pain coming up in the process, we talk about how our own emotions can show up in the process, and how sometimes your emotions can take you from a place of enjoying the process to a place of where now you're panicking, now your focus, now your vision is misplaced. So when it comes down to, I'm going to kick off the conversation since I'm kicking off the conversation today. When it comes down to it, I want to start kicking it off by talking about how sometimes your emotions can literally become the distraction from enjoying your process. So when it comes down to being in a process, we know that sometimes we're going to have good emotions, sometimes we're going to have tension, right? We might have days where we're super happy that we're doing something or moving towards something that we desire, but then there are other moments during that process where you're like, oh my god, everything is crumbling, things are falling, like there's unexpected surprises. So if you get caught up in focusing on the emotion that come up, if you get focused on frustration or trying to control everything, or even doubt that things are going to happen, you sometimes miss out on what we talked about yesterday, which is that preparation during the process. So when you're in a process for anything, it's because one, you spoke a desire out louder in your head, and now because you spoke that desire, you're trying to everything in your life is trying to shift you and pivot you into going to the next level, which is making sure that desire manifests. But at times, sometimes we're just thinking and speaking out loud. We don't even remember what we're writing down or what we're saying out. So I encourage you, if you don't remember what you're saying out loud, what some of your desires are, get a desire journal. Get a journal where you can literally write down things that you want out of life. So, like for me, I give the story, like Allysia talked about it yesterday. I've always said, I wanted to come to Atlanta. I want to move to Virginia. So like when my life started shifting to making that manifest, making that a reality, there were several things that happened. And I'm gonna get real up close and vulnerable with y'all. So the first thing that happened for me is I was in a relationship. That relationship ended. I was living. I had a car that I had for 5 years. I love that car, y'all. That was my baby. But literally, I don't have that car anymore. I was working part time using that car, doing part time deliveries while I was doing my business as well. That shifted to me not no longer doing deliveries. I was only focusing 100% in my business. That shifted from I literally had my own luxury apartment. Instead of renewing a lease in Indiana or where I was currently at, I could not renew the lease. There were things that were not available for me to renew the lease, or to even, like, I started looking at other apartments at one point. But the desire that I said was I wanted to move to Virginia. So everything that I listed to you, if you're looking on the other side, you're like, man, that's a loss. Like, you lost a lot. Like, and that's the thing. We can get so caught up in our emotions. And I won't lie to you. At one point, I was very caught up in my emotions. I was crying. I was sad. I was like, why is everything changing in my life? But during that time, I was literally being put in a process to move forward to what I desired. And what I desired was to move to Virginia. And I wanted to go to Atlanta too. So I'm in Atlanta right now. So, Virginia is the next step. But like with that being said, like you have to make sure that you don't get caught up in your emotions, because when you get caught up in your emotions as a distraction, you miss the appreciation of the process. Like, when I first started, when my car got hit, I went in a really bad spiral the first time. And I was like, man, what is going on, God? Like, this is not the plan. I thought the plan was for me to drive to Virginia. Like, how I'm gonna drive to Virginia and the car not there? So like by the second time my car got hit, y'all, like, and I show people the accident on Facebook, but the second time my car got hit this year, it took off the whole right passenger side of the car. So I knew my car would have to be totaled. But the thing is, like when you're focused on the distraction of the emotions you're feeling in the process, I literally had to shift and pivot my attitude. So when that second car accident happened, all I could say was thank you God that I am alive. That car can be replaced, but I literally like, and people asked me, they was like, "Are you hurt? Did you go to the hospital?" I'm like, "No, I didn't go to the hospital. I drove home and then I went to work out the next morning. I went for an hour walk and then I went to go do some sauna and meditation." So it's all about appreciating the blessings, because there's certain things that we're holding on to, which is another distraction, right? There's certain things we're holding on to in our lives that, you know, aren't even, they're valuable to our mentality and our experience here on earth, but if they're not valuable anywhere else. So when you die, there's certain things that's not going to be valuable, certain things that's not even going to matter to you anymore. But the idea is, when you become distracted by holding on to things, holding on to emotions, holding on to material possessions, you miss the idea of appreciating the process, because there's so much more to you and so much more for you in your life. So I'm gonna sum it up. So the two things we just talked about literally was one, appreciating, when you're appreciating the process, some distractions you got to look out for is your emotions and your attitude towards the process, because that'll literally cause you to miss and not appreciate the process. And the other thing is holding on to things. Like, we don't look at it as a distraction, but when you're holding on to something that you know you should be letting go of, you're hindering yourself. You're putting resistance in the process and putting resistance in appreciating the process, because now you put a stumbling block where now you if you say it again, you might have to go through it all over again. So I'm passing my to Allysia now, and this is Jasmine Porter. I'm complete.
Thank you, Jasmine. That was an amazing start off, and I just wrote down some notes. Okay, so I got a few things I want to hit right here, right? So before my lovely child came in the room, wanted to be on the mic. Um, so there are like there are two types of distractions, right? So there's that internal distraction where Jasmine led off with your emotions, your thoughts, just your belief system, and things that you are like your like core values, things like that, right? So when it comes to, when you mention emotions, Jasmine, which is an internal distraction, when you mentioned that, I thought about so many times of how I got upset about something, but once I got upset about it, the thought of what I was mad at just kind of replayed in my mind. And what it did was it caused me to kind of get stagnant and only focus on that one thought of how I felt. And it could be of whatever. It could be me feeling like, oh man, I could have done that better. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I just resonated on that. Or it could be something of maybe my husband made me upset about something. And I, just resonated on that thought. But the point is, I was not able to move forward in the process because now I'm focused on that emotion of how I feel, instead of trying to pull myself out like, okay, this is temporary. Let me keep moving forward. Let me deal with it, move forward, and, get the reality of the situation. All right. So another thing is how you talked about, that's also that whole thing of like holding on, right? So we hold on to relationships, we hold on to ideas, we hold on to just like past 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 things in our past, right? We hold on to these things, one, because we might feel guilty about letting it go, or we might feel guilty about not feel guilty, but we might feel like someone else feels sad that, hey, we gotta like let this go. I mean, as we are, I know you've heard about being on an elevator. Not everyone could go on every level, and it doesn't mean that this person is a bad person for your life. It just means that they're not for that season of your life, right? So these are all distractions that we put ourselves in. So what I wanted to talk about is a way when we push forward into the new year. Here's a way that we can actually help remove some of the distractions, right? And it's an exercise that I do with my clients, and it's called remove the or no more excuses, right? Right, because a lot of this is really, these distractions are excuses of why we cannot move forward in our life, because we choose to either entertain the distraction or move forward from the distraction, no matter if it's an external distraction or an internal distraction. And so this exercise, and you guys can kind of take this if you're listening to the replay, just get a sheet of paper, and what you do is you write down every excuse that you have ever told yourself of why you cannot do something. I don't have enough money. I don't have the support system. I'm not ready for it. It might not be the right time. Like all of these excuses of what you might tell yourself. And then also, so I added an extra step. So people that you're close to are people that you can trust. Also ask them, hey, what are some excuses that I give? What are some typical excuses that I give for not for me not doing something? And trust me, they will come up with a few of them, like things that you don't even think are excuses. Like, no, that's just my real life. Like, that's for real for me. Like, yeah, that might be for real for you, but how do you get past it, right? Because we can allow these things to stop you. So for an example, I tell you guys, like my son is diagnosed with autism and developmentally delayed, and we were in and out of hospitals. And so I could have used that as an excuse to why I couldn't go out. Like, I have to make sure he's good and all of that, which is a great, no one's going to fight me on that. No one's going to fight me on the health of my child. But at the end of the day, it's like, am I going to really use this to stop my life? Am I going to allow this to be a distraction from reaching my purpose, reaching my goals, and the things that I desire? So as we begin to appreciate the process, we do have to get rid of the excuses and start acknowledging distractions whenever they come. And I don't think I gave an external distraction. So external distractions would be that would be an external, just kind of the one that I gave now with my son, right? Another one would be relationships. Are we hanging on to old relationships? Are we hanging on to things that we don't need? Are we hanging on to groups? Or are we hanging on to responsibilities? Because I mentioned that. Are we hanging on to responsibilities that we don't need, right? So we say yes to a lot of stuff. Like, we say yes to a lot of things. And hold on, and I wasn't even thinking about you, Jasmine, when I said that. I hope Jasmine come on and tell you why I'm laughing right now. But we do. We say we obligate ourselves to so many things. And so, but we have to get real with ourselves and look at our purpose, look at why we're here, what we're doing, what are the goals that we're setting. And if what we're saying yes to does not align, then it's a distraction to our process. It's a distraction to where we're trying to go, right? So that would be like external things. So Jasmine, let you talk. I did not. I'll yield my mic.
She played too much out. So why she laughing is because I had a situation yesterday where I literally was like, okay, God, I love to be of service to people. I love it. But I knew, like, at the time, like, one of the reasons I'm in Atlanta is for me to have a shift of perspective. Meaning, like, for most of my life, I've always been a busybody, a business person, ambitious. Like, I've been very strict, like very strict on what I can do, plans and processes. Like, I was one of those people that's like, I'm a realist, but then it was like, I'm pessimistic too. There's no optimism. So, like, now in this new season of what God is having me step out of and step into is the idea that, I can enjoy life. And I think that's one of the things we all desire, and we all say it. Like, I remember plenty of times in my life, I'm like, I just want to enjoy life. I just want to enjoy life. But then I was doing stuff intentionally for me not to enjoy life. I was doing stuff intentionally, like, well, I got to work. I got to serve. I got to do this. I got to do that. And God's like, you don't have to do anything. You're choosing to do all of this. And then you keep telling everybody else that I keep telling you to do it. No, stop lying on me. So, like, it really got to a point where, God has started opening up different parts of my personality where he was like, you know what? People have told you had to work for this. You have to serve for this. You have to do that. So yesterday, when I got to Atlanta, I had my own stuff going on. I had my own conversations with God, and someone asked me for me to serve. And I was like, okay, well, I love to serve. I want to serve. So I said yes blindly, because it's like I was going off of not only, like, I wasn't keeping my eye on the prize. What was the whole purpose of me coming to Atlanta? I was focused on, you know what, this is something I've always done. So now I have to always do that. I have to always say yes. And then my heart too is like I love helping people. So I never want to say like no, like unless I really have to. That's a learning thing for me. So when Allysia was saying like when it comes down to like, you know, that the idea of, you know, I had a moment yesterday where I didn't have my eye on the process. I was already frustrated. And instead of me taking time to reassess, taking time to take a step back, I just automatically said yes. So some ways to get around that, because your yes can be a distraction. It definitely can be a distraction. Because if you say yes to everything, when do you have time to really pursue or go after what you desire? When do you have time to actually appreciate? If you're saying yes to all this busy work, all these new opportunities that are going before you, have you necessarily taken the time to see if those opportunities that are before you are in line with the desires that you have? And that's a big thing. I didn't necessarily do that. I always would be like, you know what? It's a new opportunity. Let me jump on it. Let me see it. But for me now, and that goes back to yesterday's topic, right? A man without a vision, a man without a plan, a man without a purpose is always going to like jump onto new things. So in 2022, one of the habits that I have to build is literally, if it's not in line with my desires, if it's not in line with where me and God talked about I'm going, I have to make sure that I'm actively making a choice to say no. And it's the same way for some of you in the audience. There are certain things that you said, you know what, 2022, I'm going after this. Like even before I'm in 2022, I'm about to start making steps to go after this. So now you have to put yourself in a place of power, which you're always in a place of power. You're always in a place of creativity to say, I'm not going to let anything or anyone disturb me or distract me. So with that being said, Allysia said something that was good, real good. So, right. So I'm going to do a recap. Recap is the first thing we said was a distraction. She broke it down to internal and external. It's so true. So when it comes down to your emotions, those are all internal. They can be responses to external things, but there are internal things that are going on with you. When it comes down to holding on to things, this goes to internally holding on to mindsets and beliefs that don't benefit you and where you're going. And it also goes externally, holding on to relationships, people, places, and things that are not aligned with where you said you wanted to go. And then the other thing is other people and their emotions. Y'all, cut it, cut it. Because the thing is, when it comes down to it, we put at so many times, especially if you've been in a place of a mother, a sister, a giver, a server, overall, like we tend to have a habit of putting other people's emotions, feelings, and behaviors above our own. Like where did they tell you that, you know, your husband's emotions matter more than yours? Or your child's emotions matter more than yours? Like, where is that ever in the book? Because last time I checked, yes, your responsibility is to steward over that child, to make sure you love that child. But before that child came into existence, your whole main goal that you were trying to learn and trying to operate was learning how to steward and enjoy your life, but trying to figure it out. So when did it come up? Like some of the narratives and the beliefs that we hold that we need to put others before us, that's problematic. And I'm gonna tell you why it's problematic. One of the reasons it's problematic is because if you live your life through everybody else, you never got a chance to live your own life. And you didn't come to earth. That was not one of the reasons you came to earth, was to serve and to put everybody else's needs before yourself. No, you came to earth to live a life, to have a life, and you only get one life. So when it comes down to putting other people's emotions, other people's promises, other people's dreams before yours, when do you get a chance to dream? When do you get a chance to live the life that you deserve, the life that you wanted to live? You have to make sure that you're putting yourself at a place first. And then the thing goes down to it. If you're serving, you can't serve from an empty cup. So there's many times in my past I used service as a distraction where I'm going to volunteer here. I'm going to do this for free. I'm going to do that for free. I'm going to do this because I want to do this. Like I want to do it, but at the same time, like I really don't want to do it. But I know they said in church you need to serve. Or so like there were certain narratives that I had to fight off and had to deal with because they were starting to become distractions. Because the truth is, at times where I was serving, I could not afford anything in my life. I could not do anything for myself. But it was because I carried the mentality that I needed to serve for others. My life did not matter. And that's problematic because you came to earth to live your life. When you get done and you're on your bed, or when it's time to transition, you're not gonna say, I did a good job living so and so's life. Oh, I did a good job in their life. No, sis, they still are living. You the one on the bed about to transition. They doing their best life. You can't say that. So it goes back to this idea. Don't use other people's emotions, other people's feelings, other people as a distraction. And that goes back to, if you are using them as a distraction, that is your personal choice. And that's a choice that you made in your life. So something else that you said, Allysia, you said this exercise. So she gave y'all an amazing exercise called No More Excuses. The one thing I admonish you, before you jump into this exercise, create a diagram or chart. Put the first thing, put your desire, because you can't say no more excuses if you don't know what you're desiring. Like, if I, for example, y'all, I told y'all I want to move to Virginia, right? I said I want to move to Virginia, but I was like, well, I'm in this relationship and I let this man, even though it's a toxic relationship, it was not healthy for me. I'm like, I'm gonna stay in this relationship. God's like, no, you're not. I was like, well, I got this car and I got this car note and I got this and I got that. So like, I can't do that. Okay, car is gone. Like, okay, cool. No more excuses. Like, if I'm really going, and I told guys, like, when I said, you know what, I'm going to move to Virginia so that I can enjoy my life, so I can start to adventure, explore myself and continue my process of self-discovery. Like, there was no more like, hey, that I was like, I'm done with all excuses. Anything that needs to go can go. And when stuff started leaving, you got to be careful what you ask for, right? When stuff started leaving, I had to shift my mentality each and every time. So, like, write down, no, you need to know what your desire is. You need to know why you have that desire. So, for me, moving to Virginia, the desire was because I wanted to enjoy my life and live in freedom. Like, that was the desire. My excuses, things I said that were stopping me from getting there, it was like, okay, well, money is one, or like, I'm in this relationship, or I live in Indiana, and I don't want to leave my family. My family living their best life. They still doing the same thing. Even when I moved away from college and I came back, they still doing the same the same thing before I left. Thank God they're alive. They still doing the same thing. So why should your life be put on hold for other people and other things? So that was one of the things I had to cross off. I was like, what will other people think of me? Those are things outside of me. I can't control them. They're going to think regardless if they want to. Let me go ahead and write that excuse down. And then literally, I had to make another column, and I will put on the side of that column, is this a choice? Is this a choice that I'm willing to like deal with, a choice I'm willing to make? And for me, yes, all of these things, I was willing to push past these excuses, because I said, at this point, some of these are valid reasons, right? They're valid reasons, but what is the emotion of these reasons and these excuses? So when I started looking at excuses and I'm like, okay, well, I put on there, I don't have no money. What was the emotion? It was fear of poverty, fear of not being able to make it. Okay, well, I'm not supposed to be in fear, so that lets me know I need to change the emotion. I need to change my mindset on it. So when I got down to that, yeah, it got complex, but it really starts to get down deep down into like, there's plenty of things. And I know for in the audience, I'm gonna ask you to raise your hand. So in the audience right now, is there something that you have desired for over 2 years that has not come to pass? If it has not come to pass and you've had that desire, go ahead and raise your hand for me. And I'm raising my hand, obviously, like on the thing. All right. So I see a few hands. If there's something that you desire for over 5 years that have not come to pass, that has not manifested, go ahead and raise your hand. Cool. If there's something that you've desired all your life you wanted something and it has not come to pass yet, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay. So with that being said, what is it that's stopping it from coming to pass? 9 times out of 10, it's you. And that's a harsh word for you to hear. And I'm gonna be honest, and I have to do this with myself, right? And that's the thing. I'm never gonna tell anybody anything that I have not put myself through. I said all my life, even when I was a kid dealing with depression, even when I was a kid dealing with suicide, even when I was a kid going through traumatic experiences, I said all I want to do is I want to be free, and I want to enjoy my life. That's all I said. That was a desire I had since I was a child. And then one of the other desires that I had is I said I wanted to belong to, like, because I felt like I did not belong. I was like, I want to belong. I want to be free, and I want to enjoy my life. And when I look back on life decisions and choices that I made, there were things that I did to make sure that that didn't happen. Whether that was, I said I wanted to be free. I never said I wanted to work for people. I never, like, even down to like when it came down to college, if I was to be honest with a lot of people, I was told I had to go to college. That was what was going to bring me enjoyment. So I was doing things that I literally thought would bring me to what I desired. But I didn't go in myself to ask, what are those things? What are those ventures? So like, I really had to push past, like, what is it that other people, what is it that I'm doing that's stopping me from manifesting my dreams? And I'm going to tell you these three things, and I'm going to close the mic and pass it back to Allysia. The first thing I did was I told myself I would never be able to get it. That's a belief, right? That's a statement. So now I have to go back, write that statement down, and change the belief internally, change what I put in my subconscious. So instead of me saying, I'll never get this or I'll never get that, I now change it to I already have it. And that's me shifting my perspective, because if you believe you already have something, you act differently. If you already have the car you want, you acting differently. If you already a best-selling author, you already acting differently. If you already have the desire, you acting differently. Like, you act differently. Like, and it goes the same when women get their hair done. Like, we know when we set our appointment, we start acting different before we even get our hair done, because we like, I'm about to be on fleek. Don't nobody say nothing to me. Like, it goes back to that same mentality. So I had to deal with my own internal beliefs. The second thing I had to do was I had to let go of the distractions of other people's narratives that they put on me. I had so many narratives down to, you're going to be an ambassador, you're going to be a leader. Okay, thank you. Thank you for seeing something in me. I am going to be that, but I'm more than that. So I had to really get down and gritty, let go of the distraction of other people's narratives. I can guarantee, without even having some of you all talk in the audience, that there are certain things that you desired in life years ago, but you heard someone say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, Christian women don't do that. Oh, mothers don't do that. Oh, you can't, black girls don't do that. Oh, or black women can't do that. Or a woman can't do that at all. And you let that belief stay with you. And that's a hindering block right there, right? So now you have to go through and let go of those narratives. Let go of the narratives that you put on yourself. Let go of the narratives that other people put on you. If it's something that's benefiting you, that you're like, okay, I can't see myself doing this, like for an ambassador, y'all, I'm not gonna knock that. I seen myself as an ambassador for years. For years. So it's something that benefited me, but that's not all that I am. So I had to take limits off. That was the third thing. I had to take those limits off. There was no more that I could limit myself and say I had to stay bound to this one narrative or this one title or responsibility. No, I'm more than that. The other thing that I really had to do when it came down to seeing why haven't things manifested, I had to see what was I focusing on. And this is a hard one for me, and I know for many other people. When it came down to I just wanted to enjoy life, I was so focused on everything that was going wrong in life. When did I have time to focus on enjoyment? Like, and I give y'all this as like real examples. I get real gritty, right? When it came down to I've gotten my master's and my bachelor's degree. Every graduation I've cried. It was like the worst day on earth for me. Like, and it should have been a place of enjoyment, a place of satisfaction, because I attained something that I like thought I desired. I didn't really desire it. But at the end of the day, I thought it was gonna be something that, I found joy in. But the thing is, because I was so focused on everything that was going wrong, I couldn't appreciate the blessings that were before me. I couldn't. So like when it comes down to it, there's so many things that, like, instead of us focusing on the desire, we focus on the lack of it. We focus on the problems that are before us instead of embracing the desire. So right now, if you're writing a book, embrace and enjoy writing that book. Don't worry about stop worrying about, okay, do you have the money for the printing? Do you have the money for this? Do you have the network for this? No, enjoy the act and the experience of the thing. That's a part of enjoying the process. It's enjoying being in that moment. If you're moving states, if you're moving and traveling, embrace the idea of going to that space. Embrace the idea of the travel that's happening in it. Don't start worrying about what needs to be put in place. Don't start worrying about things you don't have planned and set up, or if money short, all that stuff. Like, and that's speaking personally for me, because even with my trip to Atlanta, there were certain things I desired and I expected. I really expected things to go differently, but I started missing the process. I had everything that I needed. Everything else was just a bonus and a gift. So like, I really had to pull myself out of that to say, no, let me stop doing that. If you're in the process of starting a business right now, stop worrying about, like, and this is real, focus on the joy that your business will give you. Focus on the joy of your impact. Stop focusing on, like, and this, and now I'm saying stop focusing on, this is a choice you have to make, right? But many times when you're entrepreneurs, you start getting worried, you start feeling like, okay, I don't know all the information I need to start a business. I don't have the resources. I don't have the connections. I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. No, embrace the process of the creation. Because the thing is, once you embrace the process of the creation and you put yourself in a place of joy and in gratitude and creativity, you're in the receiving mode. So the thing, everything else will fall into place. If you're looking for, if you know you need a coach, and you like, God will send you your coach. He will send you your teammates. He will send you everything that you need. Like, literally, as you spoke the desire, things are falling into place for you. The only thing that's causing resistance is your beliefs on what is available to you. When there's everything in this world is available to you, it's the belief. The only thing that stops you is the belief that it's not, the worry that it's not, the fear that it's not going to happen. So when you start shifting and putting your place in a place of joy in that receiving mode, you rid yourself of the distractions of your own fears. Your own fears. And you need to know what those fears are, because sometimes your fears are operating without your acknowledgement. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my mic because we are getting close to the 40 mark. But we're gonna have to start this clubhouse after party. So go ahead, Allysia.
Yes, so that's where I was heading, and I pinged a few people. So if you want to come up to the stage, please come on up. This has been an amazing conversation as we are talking about distractions. And before we do that, I do want to let you know that you are in the Intentional Success Tribe, where small business owners and entrepreneurs gather to connect with one another and build community. So if you are interested in being a part of this collaboration, it is amazing. This is how me and Jasmine met. This is also where I have also met a few people and built like some collaborations and things like that. Awesome intentional collaborations. And there we have a few people here who are actually a part, who are VIPs, such as Connie, me, Jasmine. I think JB, are you a part of the collaboration? I believe you are. But we have a few people who know. Okay, but well, JB, that means it's time for you to join then, JB. But so if you are interested in being a part and having a community sisterhood of people who are like-minded in business and wanting that support, go ahead and number one, click on that green house above the intention that says Intentional Success Tribe. That is for the club here on Clubhouse. And then also click on the link that says Intentional Success Tribe. And that is the Facebook group where we share a lot of great information there. All right. So as people are coming up, I want to add this part, because this is a part that I know a lot of people deal with. And that's those friends and family members who manipulate you to make you believe, or keep you from actually moving where you want to go, because they are scared. Number one, they're scared that if you grow and build, that you're going to leave them. It might be true, who knows, but they're scared to even release you to do that. And then there are other people who manipulate you because they want you to stay where they are. They're not willing to grow, and they want you to stay where they are. And so that is another type of distraction. And I just wanted to say that. And Jasmine has some amazing shares. And I like how you talked about how when you get on that deathbed, like if you think about your life in its entirety, do you feel like you've truly made an impact on your life, that you truly lived a joyful life? And then I was thinking, as soon as she said that, I was thinking, we always say when when I get to heaven, God gonna ask me about how I treated so and so, or it might be flipped. But God gonna ask you how you treated your life. Did you live out your life? And what are you going to say? Okay, so that's what I wanted to add there. So also, Jasmine, thank you for pinning that link. Now this link above that is titled, it's about who you are and whose you are. Now that link, if you have been loving the conversation, especially all throughout the week and today, go ahead and click that link. That link gives you the notification that we are getting ready to go live on Facebook and on Clubhouse. But also by clicking that link and signing up, as me and Jasmine roll out a few things, and guess we got the business license, we got all the things. We announced yesterday that we have started our business together, and it's called the Ministry of Identity. And so right now we're getting everything taken care of as far as the licensing, EIN, all of the business work behind it. And then we're going to actually begin to put it out where as a place of where you can go. But if you're interested in what's going to come out of that, also click on that link, because we're going to be sharing all the details further down the road. All right. So Jasmine, go ahead. We've reset the room. We are talking about appreciating the process. And today we're talking about distractions. Okay. You waving at me. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Go ahead, Jasmine. Yeah.
Oh, I was waving at you because I know you about to close down Facebook, so so we can start the after party in Clubhouse. So I wasn't saying nothing. So good.
Good.
All right. So all right, everybody. So we can go ahead and kick off this after party on Clubhouse. So
okay, Facebook, we are getting ready to head over to the after party. We're starting the after party over on Clubhouse. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching the replay. I am so excited. This week has been a lot. Like, we've been doing this and getting things set. As you saw, we are releasing our new journey together, and it's going to be exciting. And if you're interested in joining the after party, you can just in that email that I sent for those who are signed up, you just click on that Clubhouse link and head over to our room, and we are live in that after party right now, where you can actually come up and have a conversation with us have a conversation about the topic that we've been discussing. But anyhow, thank you for joining. This has been awesome. And I will see you tomorrow, the last day of the new year. Have a great day.